Good morning and welcome to Kelly's Anesthesia Tips. I think I'm going to start all my videos through September by plugging our anesthesia meetings, just because they're so important and we need everyone to help us keep these alive actually. I've mentioned this several times when I do the YouTube videos about how many opportunities we used to have in a year for education, which, as you all know, isn't this the work that we do is not taught in any course anywhere. We get a little tiny bit of anesthesia coding that comes from the CPT book with your AAPC certification, training, testing, etc. But as far as doing what we do on a real world basis, the opportunities are few and far between. So I will list the link here. It's going to be in September. You can get all of the information here. Register through, they started with discounts that are getting progressively smaller. So there's still another $100 discount unless you bring multiple people, and then I think the discount stays good through the registration dates for all of them. But you can get to your full conference agenda here and you'll see there's a boot camp. The boot camp does include like updates for 2025. There's a virtual conference later in the year, but this one is an in-person, and to me those are just a little bit easier to ask questions, participate, hear other people's questions, etc. So as I said, I will put this on my website, a link, to their website. It's always on my website. The anesthesia meetings that I support and know about are listed on mine. All right, now today will be a little bit of a surprise for those of you who are coders and billers and or payment posters. Some of us fill a little more roles in the office. And if you don't really, you kind of should have an understanding of how this whole process works, because I like to say we're like wheels, the cogs in a wheel. Everybody helps the wheel turn in the office, from the person who picks up the work, if you still have to do that, enters it into the system, does the demographics, puts the charges, does the coding, posts the payments, follows the reconciliation process for all of this, and then, the accounts receivable follow-up. We are all part of the same team working toward the same goal, getting all of the work in, making sure it's accurate, and then balance billing whoever's responsible for it and clearing out the account. That's our jobs. All right, so today I had this on my list. I do check my list often, and this one was one that I was like, I'm ready to do something a little bit different. So payment posting, charge reconciliation, and adjustment reconciliation. I understand that a lot of times now this is done by your system, but you still have to have a mechanism of balancing your work. So payment reconciliation is the one that I had on my list. It was like AR reconciliation and the trick of nines. But this trick of nine works for everyone. It's not just payment reconciliation, but I'm going to start there. So I built a little example reconciliation spreadsheet, and for you to follow along easily, I've already made the notes and I've already made the mistakes. So we are pretending that these are payments that were deposited and payments that were posted, and as you can see, we're off because we use our spreadsheets to help us do things that we used to do by hand. You can still do this by hand, but it is so much easier using spreadsheets now. So what I did is I've entered some fake deposits, and then I've entered some posting to match. It should match exactly what your deposit is in your bank, because now we use like lock boxes and such, but we still have balancing. We know how many checks come in, and then we have to make sure that that correct amount is posted to the accounts. Here I'm going to mention, if you've ever read my questions to ask billing companies, that's on the Forms to Download tab on my website. One of those questions is, do they allow posting to something called an unknown account, or it's something that they don't recognize? Because you should not. Every check that you get either belongs to you or it doesn't. There should be no unknown accounts, or there's various names for them, but if it's not your money, you have to give it back. So there should never be an account where you don't know where the money goes. Because if you don't know where the money goes, it's not yours. And if you can't figure that out, you give it back. So we should have everything reconciled to a patient's account. Here I've made the mistakes for us by transposing numbers, because this is the trick. When you transpose a number, no matter what, you're going to be off by an even amount that is divisible by 9. So here I've just transposed a few numbers, and I'll show you that if we go correct them, we're going to say our deposited amount is the accurate amount, and then we need to fix our posting. And then the same is going to be true for each of these tabs that I've created, but I'll show you one by one. So here we have our charges. That's where the money starts. Your payments. That's what we need to get to post against those charges. And then I have an adjustment reconciliation screen, which is basically, and I made this very simple because I just went and took the charges that I had listed on the charge reconciliation versus the payment. It doesn't work that easy in the real world because you're not always reconciling the payments against the charges that came in. That always depends on your system, whether you're posting date of service or date of entry or things like that. But here I'm making it very simple. I'm just tying all of these together because for explanation purposes it should work. So this is our charges less our payments. These are the adjustments we are expecting. But you see they're all off because I've made some errors here. Transposing numbers, that's typically what it is unless you skipped something. And then that you have to do like a line-by-line reconciliation. And then here on the charges, I've already made mistakes here. So let's start with the payments. We're going to go and fix each one of these transpositions. That fixes that one. And then this says 48 and 84, so this fixes that one. And now we're balanced. So you see, prior to me doing that, we had $63 difference, but it was divisible by 9. I built all these formulas in just to show you using the information up here itself. And then I said, are these numbers divisible by 9? If the answer was yes, and it's an even, so if it was like 7.1 or something like that, it's not a transposition error. So here we fix those. We'll leave them fixed. Now let's go over. Once I fix them, I change my color code because that makes it easier for me to know that everything's fixed. Then we go to our charge reconciliation. We've got the same thing basically. We're off $9,000. Is it evenly divisible by 9? It is. So it's not that we missed something. It's that we transposed some numbers. So here we'll go fix those again. Fix all of the mistakes that we made. And just before I get over here, I'm going to show you, as we're fixing, these should correct everything for us. So by the time we get back here, if we fixed all of this, then this will also be correct. So let's try this when we have that one correct. This one's a little trickier. It's here in the middle, 5665, 5665. That balances us. So since our charges balance, our payments balance, our adjustments should now balance, and they do. So I hope this was a little bit fun for you, fixing my color coding again, because I'm like that. Got all of these. I love color coding, and I love balancing. So hope you enjoyed this. I like to end with my be kind to one another, generous with your knowledge. Thanks for your time, and don't forget, Please support anesthesia meetings. We need these to continue. And hopefully your physicians, your anesthesia group, or the billing company that you work for is supportive of sending you to these type of meetings. Because, you know, if they are not supported, the meetings will go away. There's not a business out there that can survive without profit, without making money. So if people don't come to the meetings, then the meetings don't keep happening. So hopefully we'll see you at a future anesthesia meeting. I'm on the planning committee for this one, but whether I'm on a planning committee or not, I support anesthesia meetings regardless. Good content anesthesia meetings. Hope to see you at one soon.